And then at Townsend, you had Amon making plays, Daryl making plays, Chad making plays. Just the best players step up this time of year and win ball games for you.
Hello again, Seahawk fans. Welcome to another edition of Hawk Talk with Brian Mull. I'm Aaron Schoonmaker, and we have got some stuff to tell you. We've got some recent successes. It's been a great season for the Seahawks so far as we come down to the home stretch of the regular season. By some expectations and some experts, they've kind of exceeded what they were supposed to do, and especially as of late. Brian, let's talk about what they have done as of late.
As of late, they've won 3 of 4, had some interesting wins, scored 95 points in a win at Towson, and then came home and just won a really kind of ugly, grinded-out defensive game against Drexel. Yeah. Says a lot for a team when they can win a couple of different ways, and I think the coaches are hoping to see a continued improvement on the defensive end. The team's been scoring the ball pretty well most nights, but I think they want to see kind of that same defensive effort they saw against Drexel.
Now, a big part of that winning stretch that they've been on, and a big part of their season as a whole, has been the leadership of their guard, Chad Tomko. We talked to him on media day. He was really excited about the season, and he hasn't disappointed, and he's been playing really well.
He really has. Chad has. He's contributed in so many ways. I think he's had double-figure games in, obviously, multiple times in scoring, but also in rebounds and assists this season. Had 13 rebounds, a career high against Drexel. For a guy 5'11", I mean, just says a lot about his heart and his desire to win. Has really made the plays down the stretch of games. Been a guy who could create his own shot, get some offense, and is certainly worthy of consideration for first team All-CAA, and I think he will get some votes. There's a lot of talented players in the league. He's right there on the cusp.
Absolutely, and looking forward now, we are coming down to the home stretch of the season. We got the Bracket Buster game tomorrow. We got a couple more games in the season before the CAA tournament. Preview a little bit of how we stack up for the UNCW Seahawks down the stretch.
Well, the Seahawks are fighting for a seed, just like every team is at this time of the season. They're kind of in a cluster there of teams, 7, 8, 9. Have opportunity to put the 10th seed kind of in their rear view mirror, so to speak. It comes down to they've got Hofstra coming in here Wednesday. Hofstra, you never know what type of motivation they're going to have. They've already clinched a top 4 seed. Perhaps Wilmington played them very, very tight up at Hofstra. It was a tight game going to the last media timeout. So, and then they close the regular season next Saturday at Northeastern. So, two huge games. A lot that could still happen, but looking probably at the 8-9 game or perhaps the 7-10 game.
Well, that sounds great, stacking up down the stretch into the tournament. And another big part of the change of the mentality and the atmosphere with the program is head coach Buzz Peterson. Brian had a chance to meet up with Buzz and talk to him a little bit. Let's get into that interview right now. Okay,
we are here with UNCW head coach Buzz Peterson. He's kind enough to join us for a few minutes. And Coach, I know that something you picked up from Coach Smith is grading tape post-game. You and your staff spend a few hours every morning, the day after a game. And what type of things are y'all looking for? Maybe things that don't show up in the box score or that the casual fan would notice?
Well, I've loosened up a little bit. I used to do it right after a game. So we'd be in there maybe 2:30 in the morning grading. If you do it the correct way, Coach Smith always said it takes 4 hours. And right now we have about a dozen things we're looking for. And what we're trying to do, we're trying to find the things that go unnoticed in the box score. Who's setting the right screens to get people open? Who's diving on for a loose ball? Who's the guy on the bench that's inspiration and encouraging his teammates? Offensive boards, steals, deflections, assist turnover ratio. Those are things we're looking for. Every coach has a different, 3 or 4 things to watch. I spend most of my time on the defense, just looking at some things, but also different. Every possession you're going to chart plus or minus for somebody, and so it's interesting how it goes, and it does take time. I know the staff is wanting to get it over with quick, move on to the next game, but I really believe that this will help you understand your team better, and if you're going to make changes, this is the best way to look at see what your team's doing that game. Right after we grade the tape, we have a board, big old board in our locker room. It has 14 different things on there, and they're awarded plus points for these little intangible things. Plus points get them out of sprints. So at the end of practice, we run sprints. They got enough plus points. They don't have to run that sprint. So it's something that the guys really take a lot of pride in.
Now, who's somebody that's pretty high on that plus points list that might not be very high, you know, in some other categories?
Keith Rendelman is really high in it. And why Keith gets them is because the board play, offensive boards, just regular boards, pretty good box out guy, block shot guy. Defensively, does a good job. He just keeps it simple and doesn't do anything fancy, but he understands when his man's setting the screen, what he needs to hedge, or if it's a zone on a double stagger, he is where he needs to be most of the time. So he has a lot of plus points. Deloach had some there for a while, but Trevor takes a lot of his in practice, and he's used a lot of Keith, though, keep himself in shape.
Y'all won back-to-back games where you scored 51 points and 95 points. You've coached a lot of ball games. Have you ever been a part of a team that
that'd change difference? Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been part of a game that was only 5 assists. Actually, we graded it. We had one more assist they didn't give us. I had to call Joe to let him know we had one more. It was strange. It's one of the strangest ball games, but going into it, I knew it was going to be like that. Yeah. Whether you call it a slugfest, whatever, I just thought our guys did a good job of buying into knowing this was not going to be a 95-point game here. It's going to be just a slug it out. You're going to play a lot of defense. You're going to be on defense for a long time. And I was proud of them to accept that role.
Chad Tomko had a phenomenal season. I think exceeded a lot of people's expectations maybe and been just a contributor in a lot of ways, scoring, rebounding, assist. What are you most proud of from what he's done this year?
Chad, the big thing I'm proud of Chad is he started trusting his teammates. That's something that I was glad to see him do. That's something I wanted to see. The staff I talked about, I said, we've got to get this young man to trust the people he's playing with. If he can do that, it will help us win games. And I would say that's the biggest factor for our team of success this year, that he trusts Ahmad's going to knock down that shot. He trusts Ahmad's going to guard that guy, or Daryl's going to guard that guy when he's on the wing. That's been a huge thing for us, for him to do that.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks so much, Brian. Now, if there was maybe one difference you can see with the atmosphere with Coach Peterson, what might that be?
Well, I think the discipline that he's instilled. You know, he had to suspend Ahmad Grant and Matthew Wallace for a game. They showed up late, and those sort of things aren't easy for a coach to do. But I think in the big picture of building a program, that really sends a message to all the players that no one's above the rules.
Well, absolutely. Well, everyone, be sure to keep tuning in to StarNewsOnline.com. Be sure to tune into Brian's blog. He's got everything Seahawks basketball you can possibly imagine and more. I get lost in it, waste some work hours myself with it. So, big bracket buster game on Saturday, home stretch coming up. Do you have any final thought for us?
Well, I think that it's just really going to be interesting to watch this last week or two, and you know, anything can happen in the conference tournament, and there are some other postseason opportunities out there beyond the NCAA and the NIT. So, who knows where the future will lead this team?
Absolutely. Well, for Brian, I'm Aaron. Thanks for watching, guys.